So talk to me about your family. Were they very supportive when you started doing this? No. So how did you go through that? You know.
I mean, it's hurtful. You know, you want your family to be on board with you, but you got to keep in mind, I'm from a small town in Texas, right? And I moved up to New York, so that in itself was scary for my family. It's a whole different climate, right? And so my family, they didn't understand it at first. They were like, man, you got a college degree. Why you struggling? Why you don't have no money? Like, why you doing this? Like, you should be doing this. But then when I was on TV, they see me, they're seeing things happening. There's people that are reading about me on the internet or in the newspaper. Then they're like, oh, now we get it. You know?
Hey guys, welcome back to CALVATION episode number 6. We have a special guest. So introduce who you are and what do you do?
My name is Pervis T. I am an award-winning celebrity life coach, speaker, and best-selling author.
So you're an author, right? So how did it feel like with the first time you wrote your book, and you know what was going through your mind when you were just trying to write this book? What was some of the experience that you got?
So my book is called Thriver Mode, and it teaches men how to process their emotions and mental health. And to answer your question, I felt like it was my contribution to the world. Like I always feel like we're supposed to leave something to let us know leave a message. And I feel like that book was my message to the world to show that men are allowed to be whole and healthy.
Wow. So do you I guess one of your things that you like to do is leave messages to the people out there in the world? Like that's one of the things that you like to do? So tell us how you experienced it throughout the years and all that.
It's been great. I mean, I've been doing this work for almost a decade as being a life coach and working with people.
Pretty much knowledge and experience.
Yeah, so I have tons of experience in it, and it always feels good, you know, like to help somebody who's going down a path, and then you just say something to them. Now they're making a different they turn in a different direction. So it always feels good.
And you meet so many people along the way, right?
Yes.
Connection and all that. So tell me, you're also a celebrity coach?
Yes. So I've worked with celebrities. I can't say who because you sign NDAs. But I mean, celebrities are human beings. They're people, but they just have more complex lives, and I just kind of help them figure out how to navigate through those complex lives.
I feel like people gotta realize that we're all human too. Like I guess they're professional too, but like those celebrities have a life too. Like believe it or not, they have a talent. They work very hard for it, but we gotta understand that they're human too.
Yeah, but their lives are really, really complex. Like it's really not as simple as you think.
Like mindset.
And absolutely.
So tell us, how did you learn these type of skills that got you to what you do? Like some of the things that you do.
Well, I do have my master's in clinical psychology from Columbia University. But I think it's just something that's just like that was innate in me. It's like a gift. Like I've always been a person that people just came to for advice. So I just felt like it's just a gift. Some people can sing and some people can dance. Like I feel like my gift was I could help people.
That was like a talent that you thought.
There's a talent that I had.
So along the way, did it get difficult at first when you were trying to do it? Wow, I don't know what to do. I don't know any experience that I have in this.
Any entrepreneur, because I'm an entrepreneur, I work for myself, it's always hard. You try to find out, where you fit, where you belong, how to target your audience, how to build a brand. It's very difficult.
Very difficult.
It's still difficult. We've been doing it 10 years.
I feel like it's more competitive now because we have so many social media out there.
Exactly.
And you got to be very unique and bring the best value to the people.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, it's hard because it's like, how do you decipher between who's legit and who's just social media? You know what I mean? Like, I really do this for a living, so it's not. I'm not just a social media person.
And also, there's people out there that just do it for the money.
Right.
I feel like if you fall in that trap, you're gonna lose in the long term because I feel like if you focus on something that you love, you're gonna love the process,
Exactly. I mean, I love what I do. I love helping people. So for me, it's about the purpose. Then the money is next, but it's making sure that I'm helping people is primary.
That's so true. So I know you give advice to the people. So have you ever been stuck in a scenario you're like, oh wow, I don't know what to say because what if I give the bad advice or the good advice?
Yeah. I think so. Ultimately, I believe that we always have the answers inside of us. My job is to help you to get to that space where you discover the answer, because what may be right for you may not be right for him. You know what I mean? And so that's that's why I'm always like, you have the answer. So I help you to get to that space within you.
So what do you normally tell people to get the best mindset and physically? What are some of the lessons that you tell people out there?
Well, I definitely think like you can only build on a positive, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have something positive that you can say about yourself. Like it starts with something as small as like I like this about myself, or I like this about my life, and it's like discovering that. And then you find once you can find one thing, then you can find another thing, and then you start to build and build and build on that because you can only build on a positive. You can't build on a negative.
Yeah. And also like the environment too, right? Like if you're always in a negative situation, it's kind of difficult because especially like people gotta understand that people that like have some real struggles and like that.
Absolutely. I think it's about having grace and kindness towards yourself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us we don't do that with ourselves because we let life we take on the identity of the struggle as opposed to just saying like this is something I'm going through. We're saying I am this.
I am this. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the distinction. I try to say no. You're just going through that.
Yeah.
You're not it.
You're not there. Yeah. Also, people have to invest in themselves. You know, like
absolutely.
Like they invest in social media for the fans, but why not invest in yourself? Because I feel like the best feeling, like as an individual, that they can receive is invest in yourself. Like you can learn so much about yourself.
Absolutely. Right. I think sometimes we don't invest in ourselves because we don't really even know who we are.
Yeah. We spend so much time with other people.
We spend so much time with other people. We spend so much time living on social media. It's like, who are you really? I think that's the scary part.
Yeah, that's true. Because some people actually struggle with that. They don't know, like they're afraid to be alone when they're in that situation.
And see, I'm not afraid to be alone myself.
I love people, man. I don't know about you, but I love people.
I love people too.
Yeah. So also, you told us you're an entrepreneur, right? So tell us some of the things that you do there as an entrepreneur.
Well, I mean, as a life coach, I work for myself, and so I have a program. I'm a co-founder of a program called Alchemic Solutions, where we teach young men of color how to emotional intelligence. So, like, I have that business. I'm a life coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. So I work for myself. Like, I don't work for.
You have like a single boss by yourself.
I'm the boss.
Yeah. I feel like that. I feel like people have that mindset where like, wow, having a boss, that's not for me. That's not for me. You know.
Right.
I feel like, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure along the way you struggle to be involved because you have to invest a lot of time. Especially like if you don't know, if people don't know you in the market, it's even more hard if you have to advocate yourself and put yourself up there.
Absolutely, and that's the benefit of becoming an entrepreneur. I tell people this: the biggest benefit is not that you're your own boss or that you make money. It's that you really get a chance to know who you are.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Because like when I started doing, I don't know I was this talented or I knew this about myself. You know?
Right.
Like you learn so much as an individual, and also like I'm pretty sure an entrepreneur is like pretty like it's a lonely world. You know. Like,
yes, it's very lonely.
You have people saying, "Oh, you're not even.
You can't make it. Like how you gonna pay your bills? Like." But you gotta
get a normal job.
Get a normal job, but you gotta tune out those voices and you gotta have faith.
Yeah. So how did you overcome those obstacles in life? Like how did you be like, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to anyone, I'm gonna listen to myself and I'm gonna do what I like to be the best version of myself. You know?
So that's a good question. I mean, it was hard. I had to really believe in myself and believe that this is who God created me to be and believe that this is what God told me to do. Like I feel like God told me to go down this path, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was difficult, but I had to believe and have faith that this is what I was designed to do. And so ultimately I had to learn how to be my own cheerleader.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna. I had to learn how to be the support that I needed, that I wanted from my family and friends. I had to be that for myself. So that was hard. But once I started to do that, and then once they started to see that I was achieving and things were happening, I started to get some success. Then they came on board, and I don't hold that against them because I think what we do as entrepreneurs is very brave and it's very scary.
It's very high risk.
It's very high risk, right? And so like either you're gonna fail or you're gonna win. You know. But you know, so I just learned to even when I don't have support, when I feel like when I want it, I'm like, well, I have to be it for myself.
Because at the end of the day, people judge me. I feel like in reality, people don't really care about you. That's the thing. So I don't even think it's that they don't care about you. It's that they don't understand. They don't understand. Oh, you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, you don't know what they're going through, and they don't know what you're going through. So it's like, and you're the only one that has that dream in your heart. You know what I mean? I can't see that dream in your heart. Only you know that dream. You know, so like a lot of times I think we are unfair to ourselves and to other people. They just don't know.
That's true. So along the way, did you ever overbeat yourself? Like, oh man, like I'm doing this and like I don't see results coming in. Like how can I keep myself out there?
I still do it, but the only thing is that I try not to do it for too long. Because if you stay beating yourself up, then you're gonna miss out on opportunities. You're gonna miss out on creativity. You're gonna miss out on ideas because your mind is so focused on beating yourself up. So I don't
feel
say
like people
that too
need
long.
breaks, like meditate, take a run.
Yeah. I'm in the gym. I'm praying. I hang out with friends. I go to movies. I just
keep yourself
unplug.
Unplug and just better mindsets. So then when you go back to work, you have a better mindset and more quick, more
Absolutely. I tell entrepreneurs, anybody who works for themselves, I said, make sure you have money to vacation because you have to vacation as an entrepreneur. You have to unplug. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna be consumed.
I feel like you're gonna overburn yourself, just working too much and just
you have burnout.
Tired,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you meditate? What are some of the days that's gonna be a good day for you? What are some of your routine that you do to keep yourself productive and basically just be a better version of yourself? How do you motivate yourself? What are some of the ways that you wake up? What do you do? What are the first things
every day? Every day I wake up, I give thanks to God. I pray. I recite this. There's a scripture that says, the lines have fallen for me in pleasant places, yes, I have a beautiful inheritance. And I just say that over and over again. And I say something to myself, positive to myself in the mirror. Then I go to the gym.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I go to the gym. I go to the gym in the morning.
You probably feel more energized after the gym, though, right?
Absolutely, because you get, your mind is clear, you get those neurons, those positive neurons going, and you just feel good. Yeah. Like that, if I can do that successfully, then it doesn't matter how my day goes, because I started it out in the best way.
That's true, yeah. Because you actually took an action. You took a risk to I'm gonna have a good day. I'm gonna do this, and along the way, you'll be better.
Yeah, and I say thank you for a great day, even if it's listen, in life you have more bad days than you do good days.
Yeah, that's true.
But you appreciate the good days so much more.
Yeah, I feel like for example, myself, I wake up grateful every single day because some people don't have food in the house. Some people have their parents passed away, they probably just quit their job or they lost their job. I feel like as an individual, you have to wake up grateful because you just have so much opportunity.
Absolutely, and I recognize that so many people don't ever get to do what I do for a living. So many people want to do what I do for a living, but I'm like, are you willing to pay the price that I paid?
Yeah.
There's a lot of starvation. There's a lot of lonely nights.
I feel like when you're in this process, you get so many haters along the way. Who is this guy? What is he trying to do? Just stop listening to him. So how do you put yourself I'm not gonna listen to them?
What's funny? I don't even consider haters. I don't even consider them at all because the thing is, you have to look at. I always tell people, you have to know what you know that you know. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's if I know 2 + 2 is 4 and you're telling me 2 + 2 is 5, and I know 2 + 2 is 4, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to have an argument with you about 2 + 2 being 5. I know 2 + 2 is 4. You know what I mean? So it's when you know that you know who you are and what you're capable and what you're bringing to the table, it doesn't even matter what they think. I don't even, you can ask anybody. Nobody's ever heard me talk about a hater.
So I guess you have empathy for those people.
I do. Yeah. I try. I mean, at this point now, at some point, you want to box and you want to you know what I mean? You want to
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But you try. Do your best to extend grace to them. Yeah. They don't know no better.
No, that's true. So what got you the idea of being an entrepreneur? What made you? I'm gonna do this. Did you experience other things?
So how I became into this, so I used to work at Def Jam Records, and I was signed to Wilhelmina Models. So I was doing that whole thing. Then my father passed away during that time, and this is 15 years ago. And before he passed, he prophesied to me that I'd be doing the work that I'm doing today. So it was like a prophecy.
It was a mission you had to do.
Yeah, so it was like a prophecy that came to pass. So it was you go through journey, and I went through depression, I went through so many things, and I discovered I love helping people. So then that's kind of how it started.
And I feel when you're in when you experience that depression, you think about yourself damn, there's probably other people that need help out there. Why not just help other people?
And it makes you feel better when you're helping other people and you're depressed yourself. It kind of makes you forget about what you're going through. And I think that's the smart thing, right? So because if you're so focused on self, you're gonna stay in that space. But if you focus on others, then you allow the healing to come when you're helping other people. You know what I mean?
So when you help people, how do you feel about yourself and them? How do you try to take the best information, advice to give to them? Like, what are some of the ways?
Well, the thing is that I would want somebody to do that for me. You know what I mean? So I look at every person as like, if I was that person, what would I want somebody to say to me?
Like if you put yourself in that shoe.
I put myself in their shoes. And most of the time, a lot of struggles that people have been through, I've been through it. You know what I mean? Like whether they're rich or whether they're just regular people. Like I can relate to heartbreak. I can relate to being betrayed. I can relate to not loving yourself. I can relate to not feeling like you're the best. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of experience that I can relate to. So I'm just like, yo, if I was in that position, I would want somebody to tell me this.
Because there's people that don't have mentors or people that can actually guide them or help them.
Most of us don't have mentors. I didn't really have a mentor in this process. I had to figure it out for myself.
So how are you self-taught for these skills that you have, or did you ask for help?
I am self-taught, but I did learn, you know, from other people in grad school. I studied with some master life coaches, but 90% of it is
yourself.
Itself.
So I feel like people gotta do that for themselves, you know, especially that we have social media now. There's YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram. Like you can actually like learn all this information that's out there and take this opportunity, you know?
You can. I think it's important that you learn, but also I think nothing beats like real life experience. So you know, there's certain things that I just can't teach people. You just have to know it for yourself. You know what I mean?
You got to experience it.
You have to experience it. Some things in life you can avoid, but some things you have to experience that for yourself.
Because we're living in basically a golden opportunity. You know? We have so much connection, social media is involved, and like there's some people out there that are very scared, like very insecure to like posting about what they're passionate about.
Right.
So what are some of the lessons that you can get to the people like someone who's like very insecure and doesn't want to post that much on social media, or trying to reach out to people, or just gain those information and like knowledge and experience from, like based on what they're passionate about?
I think the beginning of it is like knowing that this is what you want for yourself. I think it's all about, it begins with yourself. Like
self-awareness.
The self-awareness. Like, is this who I want to be? Is this what I want to project out there? And then it's about finding your voice within that. Right? Because I could say the same thing as you, but it's going to connect with the person who is connect through my voice, and who your voice is going to connect through somebody else.
So it affects other people.
It affects other, so it's like finding your voice, and the people who will hear your voice will find you. You know what I mean? So it's like really about being intentional about what you're saying, intentional about your voice and your actions, and intentional about how you want it to be received.
I think that's a very like true message out there, because some people out there that don't want to take it. They're too scared to get out of the comfort zone. They like think about the worst scenario that can happen. Like, honestly, if you take a step back, you realize that you have nothing, especially as a young person, you have nothing to lose. You're pretty young too. I feel like if you keep yourself in a young or like positive mindset, then you can do whatever. You'll be unstoppable.
I absolutely agree. I think having risk, taking risk is good for your well-being. You know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, people who like jump out of planes, right? Who go skydiving, they don't have any fear about certain things. So like, those are the best people who will take risks. Because like, I jumped out of a plane and I'm good. So I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna do that. But I think sometimes we're afraid of the unknown.
You don't know what the outcome is.
You don't know what the outcome is, and that goes back to our need for being in control. That's why you have to live your life in trust and faith. Because think about it, you could step outside and get hit by a bus. You don't know what the day is going to bring you. So like, you can't live your life in such a fearful place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because I feel you gotta live 100% based on the day. The day you wake up, you give 100%.
Exactly, give it 100%, and you gotta live you gotta be your most authentic self.
Yeah, that's true. So what are some of the people that you looked up to when you were joining this process? What are some of the people that inspired you to be or in life?
Oprah.
Oprah,
yeah. Oprah was huge. I would say,
very talented,
I would say my pastor, Dr. A.R. Bernard. Who else? Brene Brown.
Oh, Brene Brown.
Brene Brown, she's dope. But really, I would say those three.
Yeah.
They really inspired me. I was like,
and why? Why?
It's just like the messages. It's just like, you know, Oprah has an incredible story, and look, she's a billionaire. You know what I mean? She struggled, and my pastor, he's same thing, and Brene Brown. Like, I just like the way that they honored their experiences.
And they took it and overcome those obstacles.
Yeah, and they overcame those obstacles, and they're very transparent about what they've been through. And I love that. I love transparency.
Yeah. So, like, were you like trying to take her advice and like spread it out there, or?
I don't think I try to take their advice as much as I like looked at how I led by their example. I started to like how they did some things. I kind of started to do the same things, and just I think it was more so that.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah, I like how they are honest and how they're transparent and share stories.
It brought you like motivation along the way, you know.
Yes.
So, so talk to me about your family. Were they very supportive when you started doing this? You know. So how did you go through that? You know.
I mean, it's hurtful. You know, you want your family to be on board with you, but you got to keep in mind, I'm from a small town in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Right, and I moved up to New York, so that in itself was scary for my family. It's a whole different climate, right? And so my family, they didn't understand it at first. They were like, "Man, you got a college degree. Why you struggling? Why you don't have no money? Like, why you doing this? Like, you should be doing this." But then, when I was on TV, they see me. Like, they're seeing things happening. There's people that are reading about me on the internet or in the newspaper. Then they're like, "Oh, now we get it." You know, and I think it encouraged them to take risks.
Yeah. Like I feel like you're inspiring your family along the way too.
Yeah, I mean, I inspire my family, and I feel like they inspire me. Like, you know, I love that they are they live in their authenticity. I live in mine. So like, I appreciate them.
Yeah. So like, when they see you on TV, I feel like those results speak. You know, they spoke.
They speak very loudly.
Yeah. And so what did they say? They were like, "Wow, like we actually did it."
Well, you know, it's funny. So like, you know, Columbia. So to answer your question, so I had my master's from Columbia, right? That's Ivy League school, right? So my mother, it didn't register to her like, oh, he graduated from Columbia until she saw that Barack Obama graduated from Columbia. Then she was like, oh my God, you went to Columbia. I was like, yeah, Ma. She was like, oh, I didn't get it until I saw Barack. So like, they're delayed about certain things. So like, my mom was like, yo, my son is on the Today Show, or my son is, you know, on this thing. Like, I think it registers to her later.
Later?
Yeah, not in the moment. I think she's like, oh, that's nice. And then like, she'll think about it. She's like, oh my God.
You actually did it.
Yeah, you actually did it.
Yeah. Was there a lot of expectation that you had, that their family had for you? Like,
yes.
What was some of the expectation that you?
I think that they thought that I would be like more successful than I am now. Like, I think they thought that I would be like, I would be like an executive or like some things like that. But I don't think they ever respected me to do what I'm doing.
Yeah. And honestly, for people out there, you have to listen to yourself, because if you listen to other people, you're gonna be unhappy, because you have to know what you like, what do you want, what do you want in the future, what's your talent, you know. And so, what are some of the ways that people can actually take risks and find what they like, find what their talent is, you know, take a class. Or
I think it's that's the thing. I think it's about really being honest with yourself, right? I think a lot of times we're not honest with ourselves. I think we all know what it is we really want to do. Yeah. Right? And I think we're afraid to say it. So it's like, I had a friend, she's like, I'm good at helping people do this, do that. I said, but what do you like to do? And she wouldn't answer it. But then finally she was just like, well, you know, I would like to do like Anthony Bourdain and travel around the world. And I said, so that's what you like to do. So try doing that. Yeah. Right? And she's like, oh, I can't do it. I said, well, why don't you take the thing that you're good at and let that fund you doing the thing that you like to do? Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't have to let go of one thing. You could use both to fund. Like, I always tell people, the thing that you're good at is not necessarily the thing that you like to do. But the thing that you're good at could be the thing to fund the thing that you like to do.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, try what you like to do, and then what you know is good at that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something like, I love eating, or I love going to the movies. Well, maybe maybe you could be a movie critic. Maybe you could be a food critic. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that you don't even know. Like, the simple things you like to do, you don't even know how that can turn into something.
That's true. So along the way, when you're in that process, you find your talent. You know what you're good at. You know what to expect from yourself too. Yeah. So when you were talk to us about how what was the book that you wrote?
Oh, so my book is called Survival Mode, and
buy that book.
It's a really good book. It's called Survival Mode, and it's really about teaching men from just surviving in life to thriving. And so the book is the bridge from survival to thriving. So that's why I call it Survival. And the book is really about my personal narrative and some of the lives of men that I've worked with as a life coach, that I've coached them through certain things. And so ultimately, you know, within men, you know, we have high suicide rates. We have high rates of depression. We have high rates of anxiety. So many things, right? And so many of us are afraid to talk about it because, you know, the toxic masculinity. We're not allowed to share our emotions and things like that. And so this book really helps you to understand what it is you're experiencing, how to share it, and how to change it, how to transform it into something greater.
Wow. And when you wrote this book, like, was that like a big accomplishment for you?
Actually, this is my fourth book.
Oh, fourth book. Wow.
Yeah, but this book was the biggest accomplishment for me because this is something that I really wrote in a raw place. Like I was very raw. I just let it out. Yeah. And so for me, that and even some stuff my mother didn't even know. Like she read it, it's like, I didn't know this happened to you. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like really raw, but I felt like I had to be that raw in order to connect with people.
They can know who you are.
So they can know who I am and also know that it's okay. I've been through stuff. It's okay that you've been through stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you wrote 4 books. You're an entrepreneur. You're athlete coach, speaker,
life coach, I'm a speaker. Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest moments, accomplishment in this life you have so far?
So the biggest accomplishments I had in doing this work is not even about me. It's about seeing people who email me and say like, oh my God, I read your book and now I'm in therapy. Or I read your book, man, oh my God, I started crying for the first time in my life and now I feel better. So those are the big accomplishments for me in my life. It's not anything to do with me. It's about how people are receiving what it is, the work that I do.
Wow, so how does that feel when you change somebody's life? How do you
It's surreal. It's surreal. It's like sometimes I'm like, I literally was walking down the street 2 weeks ago and this man stopped me. He comes up behind me and he turns around and gives me this big bear hug and he tells his wife to come over. He's like, this is the guy that wrote that book. And he's like, oh my God, he's like, you wrote my entire life in that book. He said, I cannot believe that you knew who I was on the inside and how I felt on the inside. And his wife came and hugged me. She's like, yo, this book really helped my husband. I don't even know him.
And that's the crazy thing too. When you help like strangers, or not strangers, but your audience or family, like you feel more connected to your fans more than ever.
Yeah.
And
that was surreal. Like I was just like, what is happening?
And so I'm pretty sure along the way you want to stop from it. You want to keep helping people out there.
Yeah, I think that's something that'll always be a part of me. I may explore other interests, but I think that part of helping people is always going to be something that's common to my life.
Yeah. So what do you see yourself in the long term with this career that you have?
I love working with people. I see myself more so like doing like coaching organizations, or like you know what I mean, coming in for staff development. Yeah. I see myself doing the same amount of work, just on a larger scale.
Challenging yourself too, right?
Yeah, I want to go globally. Like I mean, I've already done work in Australia this year. So I want to go around the globe doing this work.
Like people have to challenge themselves. Don't settle for little. Just keep going out there.
Yeah. No, you're right. So like that was scary to go out to Australia and do
a new country.
Yeah, a new country and do the work, but it was incredible.
So how was Australia? How did you feel?
Australia was beautiful, man. Like we were there working with the Aborigine children, and we're teaching them emotional intelligence. It was really powerful.
And I'm pretty sure you explained that information and knowledge. So what are some of the things that you like, put yourself like, be better than yourself than you are yesterday? How do you
how
do you invest in yourself more, like?
I think for me, how do I invest in myself is like, I'm always honest with myself about where I am. And then I don't judge myself for where I am. If I'm not where I think that I should be. I think I'm a lot more gracious and kind to myself than I used to be. I used to be very, very tough on myself. And I said, so the best part for me was just being like, all right, Pervis, you're not where you want to be, but okay, but you're better than where you were last year. You know what I mean? You were better than you were a month ago.
And if you give up now, you're going to
back. If I give up now, think about all the people who you helped. And it's like, there's so many more people for you to help, and there's so many more things for you to accomplish. And so it's like, even though times can get very rough and they can get very dark, ultimately the light is coming.
Like, you got to be very, very patient.
You got to be very patient.
Yeah. So, talk to us who you really are. Like, what do you like to do when you're not working? You take a day off, like maybe watch Netflix, work out.
Listen, that's what you said it. I love Netflix. I love to go dancing.
Sports,
I love working out in the gym. I love going to the movies, and I love going to dinner. I love hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, that's pretty good because like people don't have that many friends out there. You know, they have to like, take the opportunity to.
Yes, I have like a group of friends. We every Sunday we watch Power.
Oh wow!
On Star, we watch Power together, and then we talk about the episode afterwards, and then we just. I mean, I sometimes leave my friend's house at 3:00 in the morning on Sunday, like every Sunday.
You get a good friend.
Yeah.
And it's helpful because you find friends that have the same interest in
Absolutely.
same things.
Absolutely.
So you watch Netflix. Are you into sports too, or?
I mean, it depends. I was never. I mean, I'm from Texas, so I kind of technically have to be into
like
sports, football and things like that. But I was
Yeah.
never really into that. I was more into like movies and music.
Yeah. Oh, you like music? So so you listen to a lot of music? Or?
I listen to a lot of music. I used to work at a record label, so like you know. That
Did you
was.
get a chance to listen to the Kanye album?
Yes, I just listened to it. I was actually listening to it on the way here.
It's fire?
I mean, it's not what I expected it to be.
Oh, okay.
It's a Kanye West album. Like I thought it was gonna be like The Choir and things like that, but it's a Kanye West album.
Also, I'm pretty sure you listen to music when you're in like before work. Do
Yeah.
keep yourself better?
I listen to. I mean, I love music.
Yeah, me too, man. Before I play a game or before I'm doing something.
What game do you play?
No, just play soccer.
Oh, you play soccer?
Yeah,
Okay.
when I was in college and high school.
Yeah.
I just to calm myself, or even when I'm gonna go work or gonna go, do this. But this became more like not like a talent, but more like a laugh. Like I like to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But also like listen to music before if you feel pressure, listen to music and relax yourself.
Yo, there's always something to make you feel good. Like there's always something. Like I just like to listen to some stupid music sometimes, like, just to be this mind-numbing music, and then I listen to music for an intent and purpose.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what's an advice or lesson you can give out people that want to be coaches, entrepreneurs, all that good stuff? What are some of the, or maybe like the first book, but they're scared of? What are some of the lessons you can give to the people out there?
Man, I would say you have to be resilient. Mm-hmm. You have to be resilient. You have to not allow life to defeat you. You can't allow life to just knock you down and you stay down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have that resilient spirit because life is gonna try to take you out.
And beat you down to your knees.
It's gonna beat you down to your knees, but you gotta keep fighting. You have to find that fighter within you. Yeah. So my thing is like you have to already know ahead of time that challenges are gonna come. But you have to know ahead of time that you're gonna bounce back from them, no matter what they are. Okay. So that, honest to God, like whatever it is you want to do, I believe that you can do it. Yeah. But my thing is, you have to be able, you got to have the endurance to fight. And you know what I mean? Like boxers go 12 rounds, right? That's not easy. You have to train your mind and train your body to be like, it doesn't matter what happens to me, I'm gonna get back up.
Yeah. So basically, educating your mindset and physically too.
Absolutely, you gotta have. That's the best advice I would give anybody who wants to be a life coach. And then also too, if you want to be a coach or entrepreneur, make sure that you're called for that. Because listen, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not meant to be a life coach. I mean, that's why we have jobs. Like you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like just because you may not like your job, it doesn't mean that you're meant to be an entrepreneur. That may not be the right job for you.
You gotta know what you like.
You gotta know what you like. And so, we need people who drive buses. We need people who, we need people who work at Google. We need people who make iPhones. You know what I mean?
Marketing
so
stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, we need all of that stuff. Yeah. So
it's all about going back to self. What do you really like? What are you good at?
Yeah. And it's something like having a job is not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. So just a few questions before we finish this off.
Yes.
So what is one superpower you like to have?
Oh man, this is crazy because I ask people this.
Yeah.
So my superpower would be that I could touch you and you can see how great you are.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. To just touch them and just see how great they are.
Yeah. I would like literally just touch you and you would like you had this revelation of like how amazing you are. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy because I asked, when you said it, because I asked that when I'm doing staff training, I asked that question, and people get stuck on that. Like, they don't even know what this is.
And they start thinking.
They start thinking, but I knew what mine was.
So, waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
Waffles?
Yeah.
I think, there's a lot of waffle up here. There's not really
it's not that many pancakes, but I'm a waffle guy.
Waffle guy, yeah.
I actually had waffles before I came here.
Oh, waffle?
Yeah.
It's a good breakfast, yeah. Would you rather fight a kangaroo or would you rather fight a lion?
Being in Australia, I would probably say kangaroo, but
kangaroo?
no. I would probably, but I don't know, because kangaroos are gangster. They can fight.
Yeah.
They can fight, so I don't know. I probably a lion.
A lion?
Yeah.
Lion? You too.
I know, but kangaroos are like that. I don't know.
Knock you out,
I don't know. I think,
No, for sure. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for having me in the show. It's a pleasure, and
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
having me.
all the messages you brought to the audience and myself too.
Yeah.
So thank you, man.
Thank you,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you, guys. Stay tuned. Also, please subscribe, share this to people. Listen to the podcast, back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, thank you, guys.